Well, good evening, everyone. I'm Steph Hawkins from the IIBA Bluegrass chapter. I'm the VP of Community Engagement and Outreach here in the Bluegrass chapter, which is out of Kentucky, the USA. And tonight we have the distinct honor with our new BA Book Nook, which is a new feature event for us here at the Bluegrass chapter, where we get together with amazing authors like Dr. Joe Perez to really just talk about books. We have no expectation that you've read the book on the way in, but we certainly hope that you hear enough interesting things that you'll want to read it on the way out. And of course, engage with us and talk to us about your questions that you have during it. So this is a kind of a different format than other people's book nooks. So we encourage you to put things in the chat, to ask questions. And a lot of times we ask you to go off mute and all of that. So that's kind of some of the ground rules here. This is for all of us. It's not just for me to have the sheer pleasure in talking to Dr. Joe. It's for everyone here as well. So with that, with pausing a little bit, I want to introduce Dr. Joe Perez. He is the amazing author and presenter, and I would say all-around data person. We've had him here at the IIBA Bluegrass chapter as a speaker, and I don't know, Aaron, was he the most popular speaker that we've ever had with the biggest attendance?
I think so.
Oh, wow.
Top three.
I didn't know that.
I truly think so. It was a
Wow.
multi-chapter event with, I believe, the largest attendance. So I asked Dr. Joe if he would meet with us in our BA Book Nook, small, intimate type of event to really talk about his newest book that came out, which is The Madness Behind the Method. And by the way, it's easy to confuse that back and forth, just saying. Our brain thinks one thing, which when you think about data, you perceive a certain pattern, and maybe that pattern's a little bit different. So with that, Dr. Joe, did you want to, let's give him a warm welcome first. Yay, Dr. Joe is here. Thank you, Aaron.
Thank you.
And would you like to tell a little bit more about yourself? Because I'm sure I am not doing justice to your
you
your
are,
plain background.
ma'am, you are being nicer than I deserve, let me tell you. No, I thank you so much for your kindness and your gracious introduction. I was an educator for 10 years before I got into my current career in information technology, where I've been for the last 32? Yeah, 32 years that I've worked for the state of North Carolina. Coming up in November will be 32 years. And I have enjoyed it thoroughly. I've tried to bring data to life and life to data. That's what I talk about. It's my wheelhouse. I enjoy that. I enjoy talking about professional development. I enjoy talking about innovation. I enjoy talking about integrity and leadership and writing about these things. I have a couple of columns that I write for different publications, and I just really enjoy sharing it, and I guess sharing the talents that God has given me, that hopefully it will be something that'll bring value to those who are kind enough to want to read after me, or kind enough to want to watch my ugly mug on a screen or on a stage. And if you keep on watching, you might just have some candy thrown at you if you answer my questions.
Ooh.
I enjoy doing that. Yeah. I'll
We
be
do
doing
like
that next
candy.
week. Yes,
We
ma'am.
do. All
Typically
right.
Starburst. I'll be doing that next week when I give the opening keynote at the ProcureCon Travel Conference in Denver. Looking forward to that. Yeah.
That's interesting. Wow. And what are you going to speak on there? I know we're going to get to your book in a second, but now
Yeah, no, that's all right. I'll be talking about driving decisions with data, delight or disaster. I'll be challenging people to go from being in data denial to being data driven. And in doing so, it's all about, oh boy, if I can remember it, dominance, relevance, significance, surveillance, and vigilance. You got to learn how to look, link, listen, leverage, and learn, and not go crazy in the middle of it.
Oh, wow. Well, that should be fascinating.
I have a lot of fun with that one.
And there's candy, so
And there's candy. That's right. That's right.
Candy,
but you got to go to Denver to get it. That's quite a ways from Raleigh. But they'll they'll enjoy it. At least that's what I'm hoping for anyway.
We've had you speak for us in the past, so we certainly know how engaging and amazing it is to be able to learn from you. So tonight we're going to learn some more things from you, but it's in a different style because there is no prepared presentation. This is just all about us having a conversation about your new book, or the newest book, The Madness Behind the Method. If I can pop that up. See, I practiced. I did pretty good there.
That's good. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And so, I ordered the book and I've been reading through it and very much have enjoyed it. I like I said, we don't have people, they don't have to read the book in advance. So, it's not everybody tell us your thoughts. But what we're going to do tonight is really learn your thoughts, like what the experience behind writing this book, what drove it, what you hope people to get out of it. So really, what motivated you to write this book? I mean, this is The Madness Behind the Method. It's about teaching, coaching, and mentoring. So it is about data, but it's a different spin. So what made you write this book?
That's an excellent question. I was very motivated, Steph. So what moved me? As I mentioned, I was an educator for 10 years before I got into my current IT and data analytics career. In fact, my undergrad and both of my graduate degrees are in education, professional development. So I've always had an immense passion for communicating ideas, for sharing knowledge, for being in the thick of professional development from, I don't know, every perspective, both as an educator myself and also watching countless leaders struggling with the same challenge, how to ignite a spark in their teams and cultivate a truly engaged learning environment. See, traditional environments often felt stale, one size fits all approach that would leave people feeling disengaged and knowledge retention rate dismal. And it felt maddening. Okay. There had to be a better way to empower individuals and unlock the potentials within organizations. And that's where the madness behind the method really comes in. See, for years I had been developing a framework for delivery of different training methodologies. Okay, teaching, coaching, mentoring. And after presenting my ideas at various conferences and other settings, I started envisioning a resource that wasn't just another dry training manual. I wanted this to be a dynamic guide that simply throws out the rule book and embraces a more inspired approach, if you will. All right. The book is the culmination of that vision, practical strategies, engaged storytelling, and a touch of whimsical inspiration, and that's courtesy of the Whisperwood Forest, right?
Ooh, yes.
Yeah, and all that is designed, hopefully designed to transform the way we approach professional development, Steph. And it wasn't just about frustration with the status quo. It was also about the countless success stories that I've witnessed over the years. The moments when a trainee's eyes would light up with understanding, or a leader would share how a new approach would transform their team dynamic, right? Those are indeed the sparks that would fuel my passion for this project. I wanted to somehow capture all that magic and share it with a wider audience. Madness behind the method, that's my way of equipping leaders and trainers with the tools that they'll need to create those same transformative experiences for their team. Because let's face it, Steph, when people are genuinely excited to learn and grow, right, the results are nothing short of extraordinary. Now, imagine, if you will, a workplace where employees aren't just cogs in a machine, right, but thriving individuals who are all passionate about their work and pushing the boundaries of what's possible. See, that's the kind of madness that I'm advocating for in my book, the kind that leads to innovation, engagement, and, well, an organization that's going to truly truly flourish. So there you have it, Steph. A
Wow.
healthy dose of frustration with the current state of professional development, fueled by a burning desire to ignite passion and empower individuals. That's the madness that gave birth to the madness behind the method. And by the grace of God, I finished it at the end of March of this year. And the rest, as they say, is history.
Is history. Well,
Yeah.
I think you're making history here because most of us had the opportunity to make a difference in our organizations with training, coaching, mentoring. In our organization or organizations I've worked in, we always talk about socialization. And when I say that word, most of the time people are like, okay, I'll pick up on it. You can see them typing, like, what is she even talking about? But I like your thought. Like, if I start using madness and intriguing and some of the things that you're talking about that really spark and capture people's attention instead of what, we need to learn new things and we need to get excited about something maybe we're not so excited about, right? Like, we're at work, it's work. Maybe, just maybe, those techniques really inspire people and get them engaged in all of that. So you have 8 chapters of goodness in this book with the prologue of mastering the madness in Whisperwood. So like I said, I've been reading through it and I have felt inspired. And this week I have an opportunity to do some socialization, and I'm going to take some of your concepts from your book and I'm going to apply them and see where that takes me. And then I'll let you know. Now, I'm not dynamic like you are. I'm working on it. I don't have a puppy like Marcy, buttons to help me along, but I'll give it a shot. So
there you go.
Madness challenge accepted. Okay.
Very good.
All right.
Button's
Awesome.
a brat though, so she's completely mad.
Yeah. A lot of madness there. Yeah.
Yeah, she just took if I disappeared on you, she just grabbed a whole stack of cups and she's running around the house with them plastic cups. And I'm trying to get them out of her mouth. So that's why I'm disappearing.
I see that within my socialization this week. I could see people running through the halls at work with cups, maybe to escape it, but we'll see. So now that I've accepted your challenge, right? Reading your book, understanding it, I'm thinking about help me more to understand how the book addresses the challenges of fostering effective learning, because I need to teach you things. We have some new processes, we have some change, and people struggle with change, right? Muscle memory, you go to work, you do things, you try to be very productive, but you always fall back on what you know versus something new that you're learning, right? So how do I effectively foster that in the learning and development in my job, or everyone's here, so that way they can take all of this and really make a change, make it muscle memory for other people?
Sure. I love addressing challenges like that. You know, that's what gets my motor going. Yeah. So we're really getting to the heart of the matter here, Steph, because as I mentioned earlier, traditional training methods often fall flat on their face. Okay. They are rigid, one-dimensional, and they fail to consider the unique needs and learning styles of individual participants, right? So what do you get when that's all that you offer? Well, I'll tell you what you get. You get disengaged learners, poor knowledge retention, and a general sense of been there, done that, right? Okay, so by contrast, Madness Behind the Method is going to tackle these challenges by advocating for a better approach to team formation within training programs. One of the keys to that approach that I talk about in the book is to leverage the power of both adhesion and cohesion. Now, you may recall, Steph, from your high school chemistry class, that the force of attraction between molecules of different substances is called adhesion, as distinct from cohesion. That's the force between molecules of the same substance. For example, it's the adhesion of water that makes it bead and stick to the hood of a car that's just been waxed, right?
Right.
But it's the cohesion of water that makes it stick to itself and fall as drops when it rains. Okay.
Okay.
So how in the world does that relate to learning and development strategies within organizations? Well, let's start off with adhesion. Okay. Imagine a team where diverse strengths and passions come together. These seemingly disparate elements, like puzzle pieces that'll click into place, they're going to create a powerful adhesion. My book emphasizes how strategically pairing individuals with differing but yet complementary skill sets and perspectives can really succeed. This is going to create an environment of creative exchange, where these differences wind up being strengths, propelling the team to incredible heights of success. Challenges become opportunities for collaboration, and the team as a whole reaches greater levels of achievement. But you know what? It's not just about differences with adhesion. Now, let's look at cohesion. Okay. There's also strength in shared experiences, a sense of camaraderie that highlights the importance of cohesion, advocating for teams where individuals share a common ground. They're similar with each other. This kindred spirit creates a spirit of mutual support and determination. The team functions as a united force, working seamlessly towards shared goals, supposedly, I hope. But I often, I often advocate more of a both and philosophy rather than either or, especially when it comes to the potential for leveraging what works best. And by strategically employing both adhesion and cohesion together, as opposed to either the one or the other exclusively, okay, we can create dynamic working teams that are not only engaged, but are also highly effective. Say you got a training program where participants are challenged by diverse perspectives, supported by a sense of camaraderie, and ultimately empowered to achieve remarkable things. That's the kind of learning experience that Madness Behind the Method strives to cultivate. You know what, Steph? I truly want to challenge organizations to create a professional development experience that's not only effective, but also engaging and inspiring too. And guess what? Leveraging both cohesion and adhesion together, both and, is one way to accomplish that.
Wow. So the PowerPoint deck that I created for training this week probably isn't going to meet that mark. So do I take a couple individuals, and asking for a friend here, do I take a couple individuals and then like structure it such that we can use them as an example, or like how do I draw them into this concept?
That's an excellent question. So what I do is let people see what's in it for them. Okay. I approach it from their angle, that they have some stake in it. They've got to see that they've got some stake in this thing.
Right.
They've got some stake in it. And if they've got some stake in it, then they're more likely to take ownership. If they're more likely to take ownership, they're more likely to give you the buy-in that you need. And then by leveraging together their strengths and weaknesses that play off of each other, then I think you're going to have a more rounded, a more diverse, if you will, population that will be involved in your project.
Right, because you think about it from together as a team, they want, hopefully they want the team to be successful. So what we're doing is we're setting them up for success. But not just saying we are going to do this, but taking different aspects of it and just shifting it around and really empowering people. And these are my words, empowering people to really make that, put that stake in it and develop a synergy with other people.
Right.
Love it. Love
exactly.
it. I am
more of a
100%
both
using
and, right. Both and rather than either or.
Right. that is fantastic. It's fantastic. So you have these great concepts. I've heard you speak on multiple occasions, and it always just amazes me how you come up with these concepts that once you tell them, you tell us about them or you show us examples, they all really just make so much sense. You're like, well, why didn't I think of that? Because that's pretty darn brilliant. So where do you
You're
draw
very
your
kind.
inspiration from? I mean, like in the book, you have the prologue about mastering the madness in Whisperwood, like the Whisperwood forest. Like,
Yes.
where do you draw this inspiration from?
I love the Whisperwood Forest. That's one of my favorites. Gets interesting. My wife loves it too. So, you know,
Okay.
the core principles of madness behind the method are indeed grounded on solid theory and practical application from decades of experience and research. I do believe that a little bit of creativity can go a long way in making learning more engaging and more fun. Enter the Whisperwood Forest, right? Yeah, woohoo! You know, the idea for this fantastical world of woodland creatures that they just happen to be able to talk. Yeah, well, at least in my imagination, you know, in the book, okay? They don't really talk. Anyway, it emerged from a desire to present complex concepts in a way that I felt would resonate with readers on an emotional level, kind of like I do in my data presentations.
Mhm.
Why not do it in this realm as well? You know, Whisperwood Forest serves as a metaphorical backdrop for the learning journey itself. You know, characters grapple with challenges that mirror real world scenarios. Why a forest? Some might ask. Well, forests have always held a sense of mystery and wonder for me anyway. They represent growth, transformation, and the potential for hidden discoveries. You know,
Right.
just like in a forest, okay, the path for perfection can be a winding path, right? Unexpected twists and turns and adventures along the way, just like a forest. And the Whisperwood Forest allows us to explore these complexities in a safe and engaging environment. You know, here's the beauty of allegory, Steph. It allows readers to connect with the characters and their experiences on a personal level. You know, as they navigate through the challenges within the forest, readers can draw parallels to their own professional
Mhm.
development journeys, right?
Right.
You know,
Right.
the lessons that they learned and the obstacles that they overcome, both them and the characters, become more relatable. You know, of course, I do keep those little vignettes short in each chapter, you know, right? So I can
Right.
get to the real material, you know, right? You know, I just need to throw in a little entertainment from time to time, you know. But you know,
We do
Whisperwood.
like to be entertained, Dr. Joe.
That's right. That's right. And it is. But I think it's more than just entertainment because it also serves a practical
Mhm.
purpose by using metaphor, storytelling. You know, the book can tackle sensitive topics or complex ideas in a way that feels, yeah, well, maybe a little less intimidating to some people, you know.
Right.
Humor, you know, and a touch of whimsy can disarm offenses and defenses and open up the mind to more possibilities. So the next time you find yourself wandering through the pages of Madness Behind the Method, and you happen to run into a talking owl or a mischievous squirrel or a
Yes.
mighty mentoring oak, just remember, it's not just about whimsy and fantasy. Um, it's um, it's about creating a memorable learning experience, Steph, and
Okay.
one that hopefully sparks curiosity, ignites passion, and, well, empowers you to cultivate a thriving workplace, both literally and metaphorically as
And
well.
metaphor, right.
Yep.
And,
Yep.
and two, it's like when we think about forest or animals or it's a very relatable topic. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
It
Yeah.
brings back many fond memories and people when they say envision your happy place. To me, a forest and animals and whatever is literally
Yeah.
my happy place. So it gives you that that little dopamine throughout, like, some more creatures. So awesome.
Yes, ma'am. That's the whole idea.
Love it,
Dopamine.
love it, love
Yeah,
it.
it's good for you.
It is good. It is good.
Yeah,
So we're part of the IIBA, and
of course.
we have many interest, in business analysis. And we're very, we're always, asking questions, right? Like, tell us how, what, why, all of the questions. We explore lots of techniques. So this is, when we're talking about coaching and mentoring, the title doesn't immediately strike you as a BA topic. When I saw it, I'm
Good
like,
point.
that's perfect, because we're all human and we all need to have successes to work as a team and with one another. So can you help, like, I guess, make it more understandable? Like, not only is the book full of amazing things, but it also is very relevant to what we do as a profession.
Yes, ma'am. Absolutely. Business analysis, BAs play a critical role, as everybody already knows, bridging the gap between business needs and technical solutions. We already know that, right? Any BA worth their salt should already know that. I hope so. They
Right.
ought to, right? Yeah.
Hopefully.
Hopefully, right. And their success hinges upon their ability to not only grasp complex information, but also to communicate that information and foster collaboration between teams. Okay, Madness Behind the Method is going to equip BAs with a powerful toolkit to excel in both of these areas. Let me name a few specific ways if I can think of them. To start off with, the book emphasizes how important it is to have clear, concise, and engaging communication, right? That is stressed throughout the entire MAD structural matrix. That is the foundational framework that I developed that runs throughout the whole book, the skeletal outline. As a matter of fact, the chapters mostly come from the 6 components in that MAD structural matrix. I might just talk a little bit more about that later if you're interested. But anyway, yeah,
no problem.
yeah. So BAs need to tailor their communications and are going to get strategies for that, right? Different audiences. They got to ensure that their message resonates with stakeholders at all levels. Adapt to that audience.
Right.
Secondly, effective BAs know how important it is to develop relationships with business partners and technical teams, right? That's definitely somewhere in the Baybock. I'm pretty sure. I've seen it. Yeah, I've seen it in there.
Multiple locations.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. Okay. So to that point, my title, Method Behind Mad, I can't even say it right. Madness Behind the Method, provides practical tips on creating that collaborative learning environment where everybody feels valued and also empowered to contribute to the whole. Okay. Then there's creative problem solving. A BA always needs that, right? The ever-evolving business landscape is going to demand BAs who can think outside the box and develop innovative solutions.
Right.
And the book's creative elements and the focus on those bringing it home exercises that you'll find in every single chapter encourage BAs to approach challenges from a different angle than you're used to, and thereby effective problem-solving strategies are developed. Fourthly, I think that's number 4. I've lost count. Yeah, 4. I guess it's 4. Whatever. Adaptability.
We're calling it 4.
Yeah, whatever. We'll call it 4. Right. Anyway, in the world of technology is constantly changing stuff, and BAs need to be able to, adapt and embrace continuous learning. Okay, Madness Behind the Method fosters that growth mindset and equips BAs with the tools that they need to stay ahead of that curve and to excel in a dynamic environment. Lastly, many BAs find themselves having to lead training sessions, do they not? Right?
Yes.
Well, this book provides valuable insights on putting together engaging learning experiences. They can incorporate different delivery methods and making sure that they get knowledge retention using the key takeaways and the study questions. Those 2 things are found at the end of every single chapter.
Right.
Okay. All right. These are just a few of the ways that my book hopefully will empower business analysts to reach their full potential. And you know what, Steph? I'm convinced that by honing their communication skills, fostering the collaboration I talked about, and embracing that growth mindset, BAs can become invaluable assets to their organizations, even more so than they are now, and
Right.
also be drivers, true drivers of innovation, not participators of innovation. I just hope my book can help them to do just that.
I'm hoping so too, because that is so key. You can know all the techniques and have learned A to Z, the BABAC and every other technique. But if you're unable to deliver it effectively in engaging manner and really bring in the stakeholders so they want to learn and want to share and want to be able to be receptive, then that is just like the frosting on the cake, or the I don't know, a good, better analogy. I'm just going to go with that.
No, that's a good one.
It's
Yeah.
perfect. It's perfect. So, we've been learning so much about what we can learn from this book, and experiences, and how we can just, really hone into our own skill set, and mentoring and coaching and just delivery. As you've been doing this, as you've been writing this, there's always that self-owning and that introspection. I mean, have you learned things yourself? Like, I mean, for my professional development and where you're going, which we're saving time for your next book.
Yeah.
Like your professional development, your style. What did you learn from this book that really has also impacted not just what you're trying to teach everybody else, but yourself and your style and the direction of where you're going?
Sure. My style did evolve. My approach evolved. And yeah, I did get a little bit of professional development myself through this. Writing this book, Steph, was a fascinating journey. It definitely challenged and continually refined my own approach to professional development. There's a few ways. First, the power of storytelling that we alluded to a minute ago. I've always believed in the power of storytelling to engage learners. Again, that stems from that previous career I had as an educator that I mentioned earlier. But during the writing process itself, I kind of discovered the true depth and impact that well-crafted narratives can have. The creation of that Whisperwood forest and its inhabitants that we talked about. This pushed me to explore the power of allegory in a way that I, quite frankly, hadn't really done before. I mean, you don't get to do that too much when you're wrangling data. Okay, not a whole lot. Right. You never see a talking squirrel talk about data.
You should.
Yeah, you ought to, but you don't.
Ought to.
That's right. But it solidified my belief in the power of storytelling as a learning tool. In fact, the most significant evolution that I can think of, Steph, stemmed from one single concept, the outline, that started off as something that I had scribbled on the back of an envelope. You are about to hear, folks, how the entire foundation of this whole book came about.
Okay, do we pause?
Yeah, no, dramatic pause.
We may need to pause.
A lightning bolt or something. I don't know. No. So this thing called the structural matrix that I alluded to earlier, it all started with 6 key components. Okay. I ought to remember them. I came up with them. Let's see. Emphasis, focus, goal, approach, summary, and relationship. Okay. These 6 were the building blocks for a framework that would first become a conference presentation that I would make, that I made several times. It later evolved into a workshop that I've also given. And then it evolved into the basis for this entire book. Okay, well, here's the twist. I didn't just leave this thing as a one-dimensional list of 6 attributes or components. No, I envisioned it as a dynamic tool, a 3-column matrix, if you will, with each column representing one of the 3 pillars of professional development or methodologies. And that is, teaching, coaching, and mentoring. Those are the columns, right? Those 6 components that I mentioned, they became the rows of the matrix, and this created a grid where the rows of the components and the columns of the methodologies would intersect with each other.
Oh,
right?
perfect.
Okay, this is the magic zone. Okay, it's where the madness really started to unfold. All right,
Exactly.
yeah. Each intersection, each block will become a space to define how that particular component, let's just say the approach component as an example, okay, it would manifest itself in teaching, then coaching, then mentoring. Okay, so I want to stay on that approach component. Okay, I'm going to use it as an example so that you can see how I constructed the MAD structural matrix here. Okay, all right, with teaching, the approach to be used is to challenge learners. The key word is to shake them up, break them out of their comfort zones, right? With coaching, the focus is on igniting the fire within to awaken them. That's the key word, waken. Awaken the inner potential in transforming apathy into ambition, right? Then with mentoring, that third column, the approach here is to guide, to approach, to make, that's the key word, to make that protege shine and blossom into the best version of themselves that they can possibly be. So when you put it all together, teaching is shaking, coaching is waking, and mentoring is making.
Oh, wow.
See how catchy that is, right? Shaking,
is
waking,
catchy.
making. Yeah, right. Yeah, catchy, right. So I developed the other 5 components in much the same way, using rhyme and alliteration, sometimes both, to make those intersecting cells easier for people to remember with these key words that I would assign to each block. Okay, so the MAD structural matrix wasn't just a theoretical framework. I mean, it started off that way, but it didn't stay that way. It literally became the structure for the entire book, shaping the way that I approached each chapter and making sure that a holistic approach was used in professional development. That's my goal for everybody. This experience highlighted the importance of continuous evolution, continuous improvement. Just like the book itself, my approach to professional development ought to be a living, breathing entity, constantly adapting and growing and changing. Now, granted, there are some tried and true approaches that aren't necessarily going to change, right? If it ain't broke, don't fix it, right?
True.
Not changing just for the sake of changing, but all in all, Steph, it's a journey of exploration. And that MAD structural matrix serves as a powerful roadmap, at least I see it that way, leading towards a more engaging and effective learning experience for everybody. At least I hope so anyway.
Dude, I'm sold. I love the MAD roadmap. So do you have some key strategies or takeaways to help implement this roadmap, right? What should I do next? What should we do next to help do that?
Find yourself in a situation where you have no choice but to move.
Okay.
And when you start moving, you'll
I'm
find
like,
that the things
a
that
little
you
scared.
learn are, yeah, right. Yeah, and fear can sometimes be a motivator, I
Right.
mean, that's the fight or flight mechanism, right? The flight wants to run away from the problem. The fight mechanism says, you know what? I'm going to tackle this stupid thing by the grace of God and see how I'm going to make it through,
Right.
and use the knowledge that you've gained and reach out to others that have been in a similar situation and leverage the talent that you already have. Most people, I will look them straight in the eye and say, buddy, you are better than you think you are. You can do more than you believe that you're capable. Now, the key is get up and do it and live up to the potential. Managers, from the managerial standpoint, set high expectations. Don't be satisfied with the status quo. Blow away the status quo. Go beyond the status quo. Look at an expectation as a thing that needs to be exceeded rather than a thing that needs to be met. And when you adopt that mentality along with the both and instead of the either or, then you can find yourself on the better end of the stick. Okay. Don't look at it. You say obstacle, I say opportunity. You say adversity, I say advantage. You say no, I say go. You say give up, I say stand up and be counted and just get up and do it.
Wow. Now that is
don't hold back.
That is motivating. And I love how you've taken your structure, your 3 columns in your matrix, because we're BAs and we like structure and we like to have a foundation, No, I'm relating it to us as our thought processes, right? You know,
Yes, ma'am.
given as a way to take these key concepts, be able to remember them, be able to leverage them, and be able to really think about how to use them with, you know, at any given point with fluidity and with confidence, and to inspire other people. Because honestly, coaching, mentoring, and training is about inspiring people, right? Trying to make a
Absolutely.
difference, trying to make people learn something new or remember what they learned before, and to take it not just be a single trainer, but everyone be a trainer in somebody, a motivating factor, right? We all go to work. I mean,
Mhm.
some people may go because they think it's fun, but most of us go because we need to, or we want to get ahead. And this really like me personally gives me a lot of structure on how to take some of those soft skills, which sometimes is always harder when you're always thinking, you know, structures, and really just try to like, how can I navigate that? And, you know, it's a challenge, right? It's kind of like
Yes,
wandering
ma'am.
through the forest, like, I'm not going to get lost here. I've got a path. I've got a way to navigate through this and find my way out. So love
Absolutely.
it. Love it. Love it. Love it.
Thank you.
So, wow. Wow, wow, wow. So I'm going to pause there for a second. Whew, because I'm very much motivated. I feel like I need to stand up and be like, yes. So, Aaron, do we have any questions in the chat that somebody wants to ask? I have many more, but I don't want to just, take.
Yeah, there was a question in the chat. Will the book be available on audible.com?
Wow, that's a great question.
I think you're the guy
I
to
suppose
do
I
that.
can, yeah, I suppose I could make it available. I'd have to narrate it, either or pay somebody else to do it. But no, yeah,
No. Oh, it has to be you. It has to be you. I
I
insist.
never really thought about that. Oh my gosh, I'd love to. Yeah, it'd take me forever and a day to do it because it's 265 pages. But I don't want to discourage you from buying the book.
No,
265 jam-packed pages, and you don't have to read. They're in bite-sized chunks and chapters and stuff. How do you eat an elephant one piece at a time?
right.
It is not right now, Aaron. To be honest, yeah, but whoever asked the question, thank you, because that you just inspired me to check it out and see. I've never even thought about how do you go about getting your book narrated and getting it on Audible. So yeah, that's just another way of selling the book and making it available in a different format so you can listen to it when you're driving down the road or something, or doing your housework, just like you're watching this show when you're, or you
Mhm.
could be listen to the recording and not get the video, but just listen to it. So I suppose you can do the same thing, with the book. So yeah, that's a great idea. Thank you, whoever was the incredible person who asked that question.
And he agreed with Steph that you have to
I
narrate.
have to be the one to do it. Okay.
You have to do it.
Oh,
Because
and I'll do the voices. Yeah, the squirrel. Hi.
yes,
Hello, I'm
exactly.
a squirrel. Or I am the mighty oak. Yeah, right.
See, that's
I am
even better.
Alara. Hello, I'm Alara. Yeah.
There you go. See, because
Okay.
you have a lasting, you may not realize it, but you have a lasting impact on people. The way you share your knowledge and you help us to understand, and you basically, when anybody listens to you, which would be fantastic in that forum, or read your books and listen to you with your internal monologue, you leave a lasting impact, right? You live what you preach in these books, and your style and all of that. So how do I say it? I pick up so many lasting impacts from just having experiences with you in what I've learned. Do you have other things that you haven't shared already that you're hoping that people will, that is an impact on them? See, I'm kind of speechless right now. Okay,
Yeah.
your turn.
Well, I'll tell you, Steph, you are so very kind and gracious to say that. Really and truly, any success that anybody sees in me is only because of the grace of God on my life. And I give him all the honor and glory for it. And I'm so grateful that God's allowed me to be on this earth to try to make a positive impact on other people, to try to bring some sunshine into their life, to try to leave them better off than what they were when they walked into the room. I believe in the campfire mentality. You're taught that as a kid. You're taught that as a Boy Scout or a Girl Scout or a Cub Scout or a, whatever organization. Hopefully, Campfire Girls. I think there used to be a thing called that. That you always, that's right, yeah, you always leave the campsite in a better condition than what it was when you walked into it. I have that same philosophy when it comes to an audience, whether it's an audience who's kind enough to come and hear me speak, or an audience of readers who have purchased one of my books or who has clicked on one of the magazines where I have my articles and things, or my posts on LinkedIn, or my articles on Medium, or wherever. If they were kind enough to take the time to listen to what I have to say, the very least I could do is make it worth their while. And if I'm
Right.
going to make it worth their while, I'm going to give it everything I've got, give 120% by the grace of God, and I'm going to leave you better than what you were when you walked into that room. I'm not satisfied with simply communicating my passion. Let me tell you something. I am not satisfied until I have ignited my passion within the hearts and minds of the people that are sitting on the other side, because I'm only going to be here for a limited amount of time. 50 years from now, I'm not expecting to be on this earth. Okay. And whatever time I've got left, and no, I'm not like sick or dying. Right? I don't mean it. I'm sorry. I don't mean it like that. Sorry. No. If my sweet wife is listening, darling, I am not saying anything you don't. Okay. Please forgive me, my love. Because I think she's watching out there. No, what I mean is, whether I have, 6 months or another 30 years on earth, I want to make the most of it, and I want to make an impact. I want to make a difference in the lives of people. And to the extent that I'm able to achieve that, then, I'll consider myself blessed indeed that others were able to derive some sort of benefit by my kookiness, my silliness, my wittiness, or my unwittiness, or whichever, the dad jokes and the mom jokes and the whatever, I will consider myself blessed indeed if someone can, will have derived some positive impact from it. Then I consider that a success all day long.
Well, then you should consider yourself a success, because you definitely have an
Well,
impact on all of us. And it's
you're
not just all
so
of it, it's
kind.
also your your intelligence, and just your manner in which you are trying to help people in a sincere and convincing manner. So
That's
we
so
thank
kind of
you
you to
for
say.
that. We thank you for that. And
Yes,
I'm
ma'am.
not saying that just because I have the honor of talking to you. I just have the honor of being able to, have had you in my life and help for all of us here to be able to learn and grow from what you're willing to share with us in such an amazing way.
Thank you so
So
much, Steph.
you are most welcome, and I say that sincerely.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
there's so many more things I could ask you, but we're getting closer to time. And I know that you squeezed me in here. I said, please, before the summer starts, I just want to talk to you about this book. And you were so kind to be able to do it. And I've had the best time tonight. So
Thank you.
I have.
Me too.
Well, thank you. So we started out before everyone joined us. I was asking the question, what do you have next? Because, I I have more reading that I can do in this, and you talked about a new book, something about from numbers to narrative that's coming out.
Yes, ma'am.
And it's
Uh-huh.
more along, I think, the data lines.
Yes, it is.
So
Yes, ma'am.
please tell us more about that.
Sure.
'Cause I just,
So,
know.
Um, so I've been writing for a couple of different publications that have reached out to me and have asked me to contribute, and I've been honored and blessed beyond measure to indulge them, or let them indulge me, whichever, with my crazy musings and stuff, and the way that I like to take stories and weave them into things that what does the Leaning Tower of Pisa have to do with data management? What do Michael Phelps's medals have to do with data transformation? What do tax laws in 17th century Prague have to do with lean data governance? Those things and more you find out in my next book. I wasn't even planning on saying that. Yeah. From numbers to narratives, or from narratives to numbers, the unleashing the impact of data visualization. Yes, ma'am. Publisher reached out to me, and I had a wonderful conversation with him and his associates, and they have invited me to write a book. Yes, it is on data. That is my first love when it comes
Okay.
to my
We know
professional
that.
development is concerned. Yeah. And so the deadline for me to finish this thing is the end of December. But I can guarantee you, by the grace of God, hopefully somehow I'll get finished way before then, because I'm hoping that it'll come out before my next birthday, which is the end of January of 2025.
Okay.
So it's a ways out yet, but I am so looking forward to that. If you've heard some of my presentations on leveraging brains and beauty for effective data storytelling, challenging people to go from being in data denial to being in data driven, or bringing data to life and life to data, and all this being about look, link, listen, leverage, and learn, and all that kind of stuff, then you'll get to see it all in my book, because the book is a culmination of essentially the three most popular of the presentations that I've been graced with the opportunity, honor, and privilege of sharing with so many people, thousands across the globe that have seen that. And I just kept writing and writing, and so the book puts it all together into one great big 55,000 word treatise, dissertation, or whatever you want to call it. A little bit longer than a dissertation, yeah. Of tips and tricks and methodologies, strategies, and tactics that will hopefully be something that will ignite the passion for data governance, data storytelling, data visualization, data transformation, and all things data within your heart and mind.
We love it. We can't really wait for that. We got some
me neither.
where people are excited, very excited, because you're taking, like you were just mentioning, some of the experiences that you've shared with us. Now you're putting it into a book with, I know, other things to really just make it so chock full of goodness that I can hardly wait. So will you be practicing any sessions coming up, meaning before your book comes out, where you are getting ready, ready to go on the road for it? Because we're always willing to be, a starter, a practice group, if you ever want to present that.
Oh, you're very kind. Yes, and one of them I already have, actually, the bringing data to life and life to data. That was the session that I had forgotten that y'all had said was the most highly attended session in your history. I'm honored and flattered. I did not realize that it was that well. There was a lot of people. I don't know, almost 200 people there. I've never seen that many in a single, with all the squares and everything on Zoom. But yeah, the next I'll be presenting the opening keynote at a procurement travel conference next Tuesday in Denver, and that'll be the driving decisions with data, delight, or disaster.
Okay.
In July this year, I get to go back to MIT. I am so tickled to death. The CDO-IQ conference asked me to speak last year, and I served on the advisory board both last year and this year, and they've invited me to come back. Last year, I spoke about unleashing innovation. This year, I'll get to speak on balancing. What did I say? No, leveraging. Yeah, leveraging brains and beauty for effective data storytelling. And here's where I challenge people to go from concept to reality. Everybody can make a pretty graph, but how do you put it into practice? Is it actionable? Does it help people to make a decision, answer a question, or solve a problem? If it doesn't do that, it's not actionable. How do you get to that point, right? How do you adopt that mindset? Well, you have to start the race, motivate the base. No, start the race, make your case, motivate the base, give it some space before you can put it into place.
Whoa.
And I gave y'all my outline. That's
Wow.
that's my
Wow.
outline. Those are the first 5 chapters, by the way, of my narratives to numbers book coming out. So
So you know we're going to
it all
trip you up
ties
on the
together.
name of your book, right? Like
Right, yeah,
crystal
madness
clear.
behind the method, method behind the madness,
Madness.
narratives to numbers, numbers to narratives. I'm mixing everything up.
Yep.
Yeah.
There we go. There we go. Well, fantastic. I know we're all very excited.
As am I.
So before we wrap up, does anybody have any questions? Feel free to, come off mute, off camera, whatnot, show your smiling face, or at least even just say hi to Dr. Joe, and definitely a big thank you for your time and sharing about this book. And I know we're all very, very excited to read it.
Yeah.
And maybe some of us will be able to hear it on Audible, right?
Oh man, that would be awesome.
That would
Yeah.
be
And who knows?
so cool.
Yeah.
that would be amazing.
And
Maybe
somebody-
maybe the Audible one, who knows? Maybe that one might also get a #1 new release. So I'm very pleased. I totally blew me away when I saw that this one achieved that. So maybe, I don't know if they have a separate, new release
I'm sure they
for
do.
Audible books, but if they do, yeah, I'd like to see that one climb the ranks in some way. That would be nice.
Somebody in the
They
chat said that they want to give your book as Christmas gifts.
Oh wow.
Perfect gift. It really is.
I am honored. Thank you so much. That is so very kind of you to say that.
I think I'm gonna
And
give it to myself as a birthday gift.
hey, your birthday's tomorrow.
Yes.
So
Yep.
yeah, that'd be a
Happy
wonderful
birthday.
gift. Wonderful gift. And if you see me in person, I'm happy to sign it for you.
Oh, that'd
Any
be
of you. Yeah,
fabulous.
anybody who buys my book, if we ever see each other in person and you have my book with you, I promise I will sign it, and I will write you a note in the front cover, inside, not
wow.
on the front cover, but inside.
Cool.
It's
Yeah, I
amazing.
do that for every person who's asked me. I've done that, and I'm happy to do it. It'll be in English. Don't ask me in different languages. I do the languages
English is
when I
good.
present.
English
Yeah,
is
English.
good.
Okay, yeah, okay.
So I
I'll
was gonna
write it
ask
in
you
English.
no, not squirrel or oak. Okay.
Yeah,
All
no,
right.
I'm not going to write it in squirrel, right? My squirrel's not very good. I'm pretty rusty in squirrel, so
Pretty
yeah.
rusty, bro. Well, thank you.
I could try puppy for you. I'm real good at hearing woof, 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 as you can
Yeah.
tell.
Okay. Yes, that's true.
Yeah.
You are ready for that.
She's answering you.
Oh my goodness.
No, my dad talks to her on the phone, so
Oh, I
she
hear
thinks
that.
you're
Yes,
talking
ma'am.
to her.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, well, I hope I didn't say any bad words. I apologize. I don't use that kind of
No, her
language.
tail's wagging and she's dancing.
Oh, okay.
so
Well,
she's happy.
I feel better. I love dogs.
You were perfect, and thank you so much, Dr. Joe, from the bottom of my heart and from all of us here.
Absolutely.
We really appreciate you spending time with us, telling us about your book, just making it that much more interesting and relevant for all of us. So we welcome you back at any time that you want to share more information with BA Book Nook. And thank you again, sincerely, from the bottom of my heart for spending time.
Absolutely, Steph. The honor and pleasure have been mine. I've enjoyed this thoroughly. And again, thank you so much for allowing me to take up your time like this and share from my heart, share things that are important to me and things that I hope will be valuable to others, because that's what it's all about, bringing value to others, bringing value to life, and ensuring that I pour my life into the lives of others so that hopefully they can be better off because of it. So you've been so kind and gracious to give me the opportunity to do just that for these last few minutes. So thank you for honoring me in this way. I am just so very grateful to the Bluegrass IIBA, you, Steph, and Aaron, and all the rest of you who have been so kind and gracious to me. This is a real honor, and I am so very grateful.
Well, thank you. All right.
Thanks, Dr. Joe.
All right. Take care. Bye-bye, everybody.
Thank you, everyone,
everyone.
for joining us.
Bye.
Take care. Have a happy summer.
You too.